Happy Monday, everybody. I hope everybody is well. Today is Monday, July 12, 2021, and this is your Monday market update. So I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you were able to recover from the crazy whipsaw action we saw in the market late last week. That was risk off Thursday, followed by risk on Friday. Just crazy times trying to keep track of it. So what happened last week and why, and what are we going to watch this week? Let's jump right in as we always do, and let's talk about it. So as you can imagine, I read a lot of different research to try to keep up with what's going on with these, and this one's got me scratching my head. I have two of the major research guys that I follow, and here's what they say why the markets went down on Thursday. So one of my teams says that the market went down because of the Delta variant, what's going on around the world and the global shutdowns, and of course the big announcement that came from Tokyo overnight, Wednesday night, early Thursday, that there will be no spectators allowed at the Tokyo Olympics, which is set to start late next week. The other group is just as adamant, except for they say it's nothing to do with the Delta variant, and it's just convenient that it's the Delta variant for them to talk about right now, and that it's all about these other things that are bothering the market. China with their attack on tech companies, Russia with their constant cyber attacks, OPEC and the oil supply, DC and the bills in Congress about infrastructure, Treasury yields, and even the Justice Department and the White House attacking the U.S. tech companies. That's what he thinks. So what is it that's moving the market? Which one of these guys is correct? They're probably both right. Regardless, last week saw a lot of action and not so much movement because we ended pretty much where we started. So let's see a little bit about what happened. But there's a lot to talk about for the coming week. So we're just going to briefly hit a little bit of the rearview mirror about what happened in the holiday shortened week last week, and we'll go from there and we'll jump into this coming week. Tuesday, we saw the S&P power higher out of the gate before the economic data came out and disappointed the market, and we saw an about face. The record highs gave way to a down day Tuesday. Wednesday was a rebound day. The S&P 500 moved up on the news from the Fed minutes. They were viewed relatively favorably. The JOLTS report, remember that's the job openings report, was actually set a new record for job openings in the United States. Thursday, as I mentioned before, risk off day. Reasons mentioned before, again, debatable. Tokyo Olympics shutdown, or to spectators, or the Fed commentary for the minutes, or it may have just been that the 10-year yield was falling, stoking the fears of the recovery is slowing. Maybe a bit of all that, or maybe just the market needed a breather. So we'll see how things go. Regardless, Thursday's sell-off was met with Friday's recovery without any positive catalyst, but we saw it pick up all that it lost and then some. S&P 500 ended the week up about 0.4%. The NASDAQ almost the same, up about 0.4%. The Dow was up 0.25%. The Russell 2000, the small caps, finished down a little over 1%. Energies and financials, which people couldn't get enough of, they loved them 2 weeks ago. They were the losers last week. We saw money go back into utilities and go back into stay-at-home names. So as for the coming week, there's a number of things that we're going to be watching. So here's where we go. Today, we have a number of Fed speakers, and that's always interesting to hear what direction they'll lead. And remember, I think that it is very possible that sometimes when these Fed speakers come out and they speak a little bit different than what you're hearing from the Federal Reserve Chair, that what they're really doing is just setting out trial balloons to see what the market's going to do if they sort of deviate a little bit about what they've been doing up until now. So we'll see how that goes. Tomorrow, we start to see the earnings fashion show come about. Remember, banks are starting tomorrow. As we see these earnings roll out, remember that I've been telling you that these numbers are probably going to be some of the best we've seen. In fact, possibly some of the best we've ever seen year over year. Simply remember, quarter two 2021, that's right now during this incredible recovery we've got going on, is comparing versus quarter two 2020, which is when the world was literally shut down. So we know these numbers are going to be amazing. We still have growth in the coming quarters, but these are probably going to be the best of the bunch. So you'll just have to see what these companies are going to talk about what they see going forward. And we're going to highlight some of what comes out this week. We'll highlight some of that on Monday's video, next Monday's video. Tuesday, we'll also get CPI numbers. And remember, inflation is still a real important part of this narrative. As I mentioned in the past, we're looking for some pretty strong CPI numbers. But remember, I'm not someone who believes that we'll see 5% plus CPI numbers on a long-term basis. It's something that's going to go with what we've got, our big, strong growth right now, but it's not going to continue over the long term. Wednesday, we get PPI numbers, and we'll hear from the Fed chair in front of a congressional committee. And we'll also have a whole bunch of and we have another Fed president that's going to speak, and then we have the Beige Book. Thursday, Jay Powell will be in front of Congress again. Whole bunch of economic data that we're going to have to watch, and of course, weekly jobless claims that come out every Thursday. Friday, a big day, retail sales for the month of June. We're going to see how the retail, how the consumer's been doing, and the consumer sentiment number is going to come out too. So as we've discussed, there's a lot of data coming our way. The norm for this time of month, it always happens like this. As always, we'll be watching to see what this does to the markets. The bond yield, and of course, what's going to be coming in earnings. So remember, this is the deep dive market update that we do here on Mondays. Please watch the Friday planning video and maybe some special videos later this week on a few different topics of interest. Next Monday, I do apologize, I'm going to be traveling. I do still hope to get a video out. So if it's a little bit late or maybe even into Tuesday, please excuse me, but we are going to do our best to get it out to you on Monday as quickly as possible. So as always, have a great week. Call me with any questions, and we'll see you soon.